88 or something.
Okay. Hell yeah. All right. I think I got that working. And now I do the coup de resistance. I pause that. I do the thing. I gotta do the thing, people. I have got to do the thing. Let's see what the thing is here. Okay, there I am. All right. All right, it looks like everything is working with the new OBS tool over here on Rumble. I appear to be live. I'm going to go over to YouTube and make sure that is actually the case. Good morning, Cornite Care Bear. How are you? Yes, sir. Everything seems to be in order. It looks like Zed arrived early for the party. Oh, well, I still need the cell phone. Boom. Let's go over to YouTube on my app here. Your channel live now. Is it going? It doesn't look like it's going over on YouTube. Oh, god damn it. Piece of shit. I can't do it on the app. I have to do it on the internet. I have to do it on the fucking internet. Not now. God, I hate it when you open up your browser and it's like, do you want to rate us right now? Okay. I can hear myself breathing. I'm a heavy mouth breather. So, what's up, Wargames 341? All right. Yes, we are live today, and I actually had my shit together. I had to leave the house. Somebody text me later on Instagram to tell my dumbass to go get coffee, butter, just to go to the store and get coffee and butter. Make sure that I have coffee and butter because I do not have any fresh ground coffee at my house. I had to go to the gas station and get the construction worker special, which is 4 hazelnuts, probably 2-3 sugar packets. And this is how I always used to take my coffee, but I've gotten away from that. But I said, hey, if I'm going to the gas station to fill up my truck, I might as well go artificial with it. And this keeps you fueled up. So this stream could go really south of heaven because I might have to go to the bathroom at some point. Because I drank all of this almost. There's like probably about this much left in there. So let's get talking here. Well, hold on here. Let's see if this shit actually works for the double stream here. Okay, we got the Sony. We're gonna turn Sony camera on. Let's get rid of Akachan and our InfoWars moniker because it's just a space filler. We got to come up with a good space filler. You know, I would like to work for InfoWars. That would be cool. I could become like the next Chase Geyser, the hardest working man at InfoWars. That guy works so hard he doesn't even have time to buy a suit. Have you seen his suit? It literally looks like it's made of cheesecloth. He has like one suit, and he only ever gets out of it when he's outside being a field correspondent. Oh, I see my hand. We're going to reduce Lil. Hell yeah. And we're going to get rid of InfoWars. Right here. Okay. We're going to put this right here, but we're going to change our light setting. I don't want a lot of glare on that. Still too glary. Oh, that's the primary light above me. Well, goddamn it. All right. I'll have to. I think you can. All right. All right. Everything seems to be working. Let me. We're not quite ready for this. I got my normal morning rant. We'll go right back to original screen. We'll turn that off. All right. First morning announcement. We did an animation. I did an animation domination on Thursday. We did Slayers, the motion picture. So there's that. Go over there and watch it. Give it a good like when you're painting. So Thursday I'm gonna usually pick a movie and do a paint and chat, or I might do just me painting something, or I might do a little bit of Class of '09 gameplay. Thursdays aren't the biggest night for me, so I am still going to tell people that I'm live on Thursdays most of the time. I think we've had 3 back-to-back Thursdays. There was the one that I missed because I went sparring. I have to be better about letting people know when I'm going to be live on Thursday if I'm not going to be there. So there's an Animation Domination out, Slayers the Motion Picture. It's exclusive on Rumble because, you know, well, you can watch Slayers the motion picture, the first one at least, over there on YouTube. Doesn't look like any of the usual suspect digital media rights companies have picked that one up. They didn't pick up. There's a lot of ADV Films properties out there that weren't picked up by like Retro Crush, High Dive, or Sushi, or Crunchyroll. I really hate how everything is just a proprietary service now. And that's kind of the lead into our first topic about how unsatisfied we are as a group with the current Games Workshop climate. And, you know, a while back on stream, I mentioned the, what do you call it? I mentioned the Games Workshop lawsuits and everything, and about how this BattleTech guy got sued for having pictures of the Warhammer mech up there. And, you know, we all know that Robotech and, what do you call it? Mech Warrior kind of outdate Games Workshop. It's giant robots, but they have a mech called the Warhammer, and they don't like that name, and he got sued for it, and he should have done a little better PR job to garner up a little bit of support and some donations. What's up, Optimus Mother Prime? Doing good. So we were playing Warhammer 8th Edition yesterday, and we were talking about the new 30K and how everything that you own is basically irrelevant now. Used to be the big thing that the thing that we liked the most about Games Workshop back in the day, back when they were still cool, was let's say they got a new edition of Fantasy out. You went from 6th to 7th. Your 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy book would still work for 7th edition. They didn't give everybody this brand new FAQ and a bunch of frickin' launch armies and crap like that. You actually got something you had your 2 launch armies usually that came in the starter set. So if it was 6th edition, it was Orcs and Goblins, and it was Empire. Both of those armies probably had codexes very close to the launch date and everything. Then the next one, 7th edition, you got Dwarfs and Night Goblins. Orcs and Goblins immediately got a new codex. Why did Orcs and Goblins immediately get a new codex? Well, because they're one of the top 5 factions every single time. And then Dwarfs had a 6th edition codex that they had to use forever. I don't think Dwarfs ever got... No, they did. They got a 7th edition codex. They did get a 7th edition codex. So I remember cutting my teeth in some of my first editions, some of my first tournaments, and there were still people putting together their organ guns just before the tournament and everything. This is back when people were poor, but you could still afford to hobby. But it didn't invalidate an entire collection of books. Now, I will say, when they went to the new format, I don't know how cross-compatible your 5th edition book was with 6th edition. I don't know. I have a feeling that they had a lot of the books ready to go, but they gave you White Dwarf armies or something like that. I'd have to look at a 5th edition codex and see how cross-compatible everything was with 6th edition. My thoughts on that I would have to do some research on that, or somebody in the audience might be able to tell me. But they every release now, because number on graph have to go up. Number on graph always has to go up, whether you're Hasbro, Bandai, or Games Workshop. Number on graph must always go up. It can never go down. it can never ever go down. And if number on graph doesn't go up, there's going to be some people not getting their $1 million bonuses in the boardroom or whatever. Well, you're not getting any big $1 million bonuses if you're in the boardroom at Games Workshop. Let's just be real there. If you're in the boardroom at Games Workshop, you can sell 2/3 of your stock and it's barely going to add up to $1 million. I mean, let's just be real here. But it seems like ever since Games Workshop took the BlackRock money, and Bandai is guilty of this too. I think BlackRock owns like 4% of Bandai, but Bandai has a different side of their business. Bandai has a digital side where they actually produce anime and everything like that. They have a small production company that they go through. Bandai produced Dragon Ball Super. It produced. I'm gonna make sure something. Hold on. Okay. I always gotta be on my guard and make sure when I get a text, it's not me. It's not some fan telling me that my tech is crapping out. But Bandai also produces toys. So they do a lot more things than just like. Oh, I think they have a small video games division. I think they own all the rights to their video games, and they'll work with a third party or two to produce those video games. Whereas Games Workshop, they produce miniatures. They're producing content now, like the story about the Salamander Sakan, pretty awesome. They're Super was a letdown. That's another story. We can get into that, but they're also producing what is it here? Games, so they're all companies doing the same thing. But when you take the BlackRock money, one of the things that you have to do is you have to make number on graph go up. I don't know what the benefits for a company taking the BlackRock money is in terms of their total overall share price. Do they get propped up by BlackRock? Are they propped up now by my tax dollars? Because I do know that BlackRock has $7 trillion of U.S. tax money, which, should be investigated, but it isn't investigated because, this is the way the controller class wants things to be. Again, they want you poor. But when it seems like they changed the entire game around of 30K just to insert the Saturnine 40K bullshit. And we don't really like that. And so we said they can keep the Saturnine shit. We're gonna stick with second edition, and that's what the new show's going to be about. It's going to be us going our own way from Games Workshop, because one of the things that I've noticed is, let's say a new edition comes out, they have the 2 launch armies, they immediately get codexes, and then you're waiting for the bugs in the game to get better, like 10th edition, and they never got better. The bugs never got better, and then Necrons came out and got FAQ'd the next day. Tyranids came out, they got FAQ'd the next day, and they can't write their rules anymore. Where if they kept the system slightly the same, and made the books that you have usable for the system, that would be better. But they haven't done that since 8th edition. 8th edition came out, and that required everybody to get an FAQ and everybody get a new book. I thought the saving grace of 10th edition would mean that they would finally get away from the codex system. But they can't get away from the codex system because if they don't sell codexes, that's a portion of their revenue that isn't driving the graph number to go up. And we're in for some really hard times as far as like people with disposable income and everything like that goes. I mean, if you're a single white male and you've got a job, don't assume that your job is in the bag. And I think that a lot of stores in the beginning of next year are going to go belly up because of this new war, and I'm not happy about that, and I don't want to talk about it. That's why it's not a subject matter today. But we were noticing as we were playing just how well written 8th edition was by way of comparison to Old World. I will say that even though 8th edition has its flaws, like the thunderous stomps, completely fucking annoying from the monsters themselves. Maybe we could put a house rule on it or something, and or maybe we can't. But just the way that 8th edition works, the way that it's laid out, the way that the books fit into the rule set already, even if you have a 7th edition codex and you were playing Skaven, it still worked. Whereas nothing works in the newer editions. They've done some good things with Old World. Don't get me wrong. I like how the profiles are combined when you have a guy on a monster. I like how the monsters themselves are tapped out at toughness 6. I do think that there should be toughness 7 and 8 monsters in Warhammer, the Old World, like the giant, the Titan giant that the orcs have. I think that that should be the one monster in the game that is immune to heroic killing blow and is toughness 7. That I think that would work very well. I think you give orcs and goblins the one, because they're not real monster mashy, and there's a lot more monster mash in Old World. I didn't even have time, Coronite, to look at the new rules for the pack and everything and watch that. That'll have to be a separate show, that stuff you sent me. But they can't let it go. And now it's like, is Games Workshop going to go there with these lawsuits? Are they really going there? And it's like, I can actually see them going there and saying, hey, remember that codex, that 8th edition codex you bought off of us in, what do you call it, in 2009? Yeah, we're going to need $50. It's a proprietary service now. And it's like they're going to try to rent you the models. That's what it's going to go to. They're going to try to rent the models. But another problem is that they fit so much stuff into these games. And again, like I think 40K is pushing 24 usable armies and shit like that, that they don't have time to do all the writing. And I've said this before on stream, that the companies themselves, Games Workshop, Forge World, or Specialist Games, should be two different companies. So you have Games Workshop Prime. They have 5 things that they work on. So number 1 is 40K. Number 2 is Age of Sigmar. Number 3 is Lord of the Rings. Number 4 is Warcry. And then you have Kill Team. That's all they work on. That's all they do. And with this release schedule of every 3 years, I think next year they're going to come into a new edition of 40K. You have to have separate teams. You have to, like, okay, we need X and Y from Games Workshop Prime, which means we're going to need, and for 2 writers, two writers with maybe 2 to 4 staffers working year round on this stuff. Yeah, those are full-time jobs, and you have to hire the talent. That's number 1. I don't think that they're willing to hire the talent. How many guys did they let slip through their fingers? They don't have Alessio Cavatore anymore. They don't have Rick Priestley. They don't have. There's another writer out there. He wrote the what do you call it book? The Sword Point book. They don't have him. I think it's Martin Gibbons. I don't think Martin Gibbons is there anymore. Yeah, it's Martin Gibbons. They don't have Martin Gibbons anymore. Uh, no, wrong one. Gibbons. Yeah, I spelled it right. It's Gbbin, not On. So yeah, they don't have him anymore. And They had the parries, and they'll pay the parries, but it's a mild inconvenience to pay the parries, and that's how they treat talent. They don't have Gav Thorpe. That's another big name that left and went to Blizzard shortly after he wrote the 7th edition Dark Elf Codex. He wrote the Vampire Counts Codex, and the Dark Elf one was the feud to Matt Ward, who I still think is working there. Matt Ward is still working at Games Workshop. It's just because of some of the death threats he got, he's under an alias. So they can't just have a core game where the rules are somewhat being improved upon. Now, I can understand if we went from 8th edition to Old World as 9th edition. Understandably so, that would have been 10 times worse and probably ended Warhammer Fantasy right then and there, and they would have gone to Age of Sigmar. I think Age of Sigmar is a representation of a company that had ran out of ideas. So we're just going to throw out free for all, and all my friends were on board with it. And, years ago, I made a Holy Divers Pit episode, and it was my first viral video, and everybody thought that I was stupid. Everybody thought that I was wrong, stupid, and it really hurt my reputation online. But it's kind of funny for me to come back full circle and say, fuck you, I was right. Fuck you, I was right. It wasn't better. It wasn't better. 10 years later, we found out that people were still hungry for Warhammer Fantasy. They were still hungry for the game. It's just that they weren't selling enough models. That's what it came down to, and we had to figure out a way to produce models to get the sales up. And there was a time period where, because of Sigmar, stores were selling more than they ever sold before. There was a time period. But I think that time period has passed, and with the way we're going to head into a recession. And we've been in an, I mean, you talk about recession. We were in a recession back in 2009. I cannot think of a time, except for that short little golden period between 2017 to 2020, basically, where I was getting raises. I was getting raises because Trump was... everything was going gangbusters, and I was getting like $3 raises, $4 raises. I went from making 17 at one company to just getting a $4 raise in 1 year with the first year of Trump in 2017. And during Obama, a lot of companies around my neighborhood that I worked for, they were always crying poverty. You had a bunch of boomer business owners crying poverty. Oh, recession and all. Can't do much about it with the recession and all. And, they were and the whole time, they're flooding the industry with a bunch of fucking migrants. And they're saying, I can honestly say that I was abused as an employee. I wasn't given much. Being in and out of warehouses, construction, and everything. I should have, and even graduating, you were promised a job. And you never had a lot of disposable. And I feel like I'm better off now. I'm better off way now that I'm like old and broken. But when I was young, I never felt that I had any optimism. And now, if we go to full war, I'm going to feel like we don't have any optimism, and that's going to bring a recession. And then you're going to hear these companies cry that they're not selling enough. They're not selling enough. Where's the profits? Where's the profits? But there was a short period of time where, and I think Old World is still doing gangbusters sales-wise. I think they're not going to talk about it. But like with the way things are sold out between 30K and Old World, you don't see that kind of shit sold out for Age of Sigmar. They screwed up the game. They were, even in 2nd edition, my friends were like, this is kind of taxing. This kind of sucks. They made 2 games back to back, Age of Sigmar 2nd edition and Warhammer 40K 10th edition, where it's like, okay, the rules are simpler, but are they? ? They're not. The rules have actually gotten worse. You know, you go into the 30K rulebook, there's a list of universal special rules that armies will have, but you can look up. Where it's like, if you don't know what the other army is and you don't know what their rules are, you're basically an illiterate at the game. You're an illiterate at the game. And the games themselves have been, they've basically, new model, you'd better buy that new model because it's going to be good. And that was very true of Orcs. When I left 10th edition, Happy Crumping, and, you know, he's just one of those guys that's out there making positive content, you know, for GW. I literally think that he might be on the payroll like the butt-clapping captain of the Pussy Patrol. Some people just come off as too positive. They rub you the wrong way. They come off as artificial and fake about the game and everything. Some people they push it. They push the product. But the list that was going to be competitive when I was getting out of 40K 10th edition was the 6 kill rig list. I don't have the app, so I can't point that up, and I don't know if that would still be competitive in today's what do you call it, market. But I'm just going to go into GW right now, and I want to see what that would cost. Why do you always have to ask me my fucking country? Okay, they have the same kind of stock issues. So you know the models are good. What models are good just based on what's sold out. Deathcopters sold out. Deathcopters are good again. So let's see. We're going to go up. Death Dreads. So that would be $870 for your 6 kill rigs if you were to do that list, the 6 kill rig list. And then you would of course have to add Mozrog, Scarbrand, and a Squigosaur and a boss on a Squigosaur. So you can add another 120 to that. And then when they came out with the Beast Snagga Boys, those were immediately good. The Beast Snagga Boys were immediately good. And I remember this in 9th edition when all the war buggies came out and shit like that. All the war buggies, all of that stuff was good. So it's like whatever new release they put out, it's got to be good. And then you have the auto includes. If you're a Space Marine player, you got to have your Eradicators and shit like that. Like, here, we're going to give you a unit that doesn't even need Oath of Moment to be successful. It doesn't even need Oath of Moment. It's going to get to reroll to hit you, reroll to wound you, and damn sure it's going to get to reroll its wounds. So you're always going to get the, you're always going to average out. If the average roll, if you have a 50% chance of rolling a 4 up, because you get to reroll it. Oh, look, all those 1s and 2s I rolled for damage with my Eradicators. Well, I'll fix that. Oh, look, I got a 5, a 2, and a 4 now. All right, hell yeah. Your battle wagon takes what is that, 5? That's 9, 10, 11. You take 11 wounds. There you go. But, this is the thing that's really pissing us off, because we made the contrast of 10th edition 40K to Conquest, Last Argument of Kings. And it doesn't matter what is made for that game. Everything has a relevant usefulness to it. Everything you buy for that game is relevant and useful. You can work anything into your list and it's going to be usable. And that's not the case with 40K anymore. That's not the case with 40K anymore. So let me come up and get some comments here. We'll say hello. It's not good that I'm drinking this much coffee. Now my mouth's dry. What's up, Offendatron? Did that even send? No, it didn't. Oh, there it is. Okay. What's up, Lucky Luxie Buckler? A new face there. I will agree with you. Can I click on these at all and put them up on screen? It doesn't look like I can. I will agree with you, Optimus Prime, that 3 years is too short for an edition. But again, we got to make number on graph go up. Good morning, Nick Nations. It's gotten to the point where you're going to Henrik, it's gotten to the point where the releases are just so back-to-back, and whatever you buy is going to be terrible anyway. You might as well just start proxying models, you know. It's not about having a collection. Like, I'm going to get my 3 Predators and my 2 Vindicators done for my Iron Warriors, and I still have to paint one more Tac Squad. And none of that is going to be any good in the new edition. Who knows? I mean, who knows? We're not going to play the new edition. I'm not going to go buy a bunch of saturnine bullshit and books. And the fact that you're getting books for 30K now. Oh, Iron Warriors are going to be their own books. Salamanders, they're going to have like 5 launch armies available as books. 30K did it right the first time. Everybody's in the same fucking book. That made it doable. Oh, Cathay, Coronite already informed me that Grand Army Cathay is going to be broken as all hell. It's going to be broken as all hell because they need to sell those models. I was never on board with Cathay. They made some cool, the lanterns that float up in the air, pretty fucking cool. I'm just not on board with the way that they're going about this. I mean, they could very well bumble the release of this army to where they need to go to a new edition and everything like that. Because you're making shit up as you go along, and now you have to change the rules so that this shit is absolutely good and you have to buy it. Otherwise, you're just going to be left out in the cold. It already looks like they're going to make Cafe on par with Bretonia and Tomb Kings. Oh, I'm not saying that the MK2s aren't viable with the way they made them and everything. I'm just saying they dropped the ball with not putting Mark IVs in that box, new Mark IVs. The one complaint I hear about the Mark IVs, I don't really see it, is they say they're a little bit short in the height department compared to the new 6 models. What's up, Judge Chan? So the thing that I'm going to write a show on this subject matter. I have to take this. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Hello. Okay. I apologize. That was a phone call that I was actually expecting from a parental figure. So, where was I? Uh, so yeah, they dropped the ball there. There should have been Mark IVs in that with no Saturnine bullshit. The fact that they need these bigger, bulkier Terminators with disintegrated laser Robotron, awesome weapons, it's just too much. And the fact that they're going to go to books, they're going to books for each army, that's bullshit too. I I mean, I would prefer that you make universal codexes that include all the Xenos armies inside of 40K. You have to, at the beginning of every game, I think that everything has the same special rules laid out like they were in 30K, and then you put like, so you're going to have 3 different Xenos codexes, okay? Let me go up here. I'm just going to go up the codex. Xenos armies. Okay, so let's see here. You're going to have... Let's put Orcs, Tyranids, and Gene Stealer cults in the same codex. They're going to be in the same book. And that's where you're going to find your rules for the remainder of this edition. Okay? Then you're going to have Krons, Leagues of Votan, in Tau in the same book. And then you're going to have all the Eldar and Dark Eldar shit in their own fucking book. So you can already save a lot of time and money and effort by doing that. You're going to get one book for the whole edition. One book for the whole edition, and it's got the special rules in it for your armies. And then you save the publishing costs. No, instead of like, here, we have a bunch of shitty pictures that we've recycled. We've got the same recycled stories about old One Eye, and we're going to repackage it, polish up a turd, and resell it to you every 3 years. No. You can't use your old books. And like I said, 30K, they got it right the first time by just putting the factions together in Heretic and in Loyalist. And that's how it should be done. It works. I know what you're bringing. Other than what your special Terminator rules might be, I know what you're bringing. So I'm going to kind of write a show about this and put that out there. I just have to sit down and write it, and that's very busy right now. So let's get into yeah, all the Imperium factions. Sucks that I can't do any of that. All right. What's up, Ravenwing? Yeah, I'm actually neck and neck. Rumble and YouTube are neck and neck in terms of viewers. I like it when we have this kind of stuff. So I was going to get into this right now. Let's hurry up and do it now that I'm done with my morning rant. My Alzheimer's is starting to set in. So this is the voyage portion of our continuing saga for Genocide here. And I still kind of like this cover. This cover doesn't really have anything to do with the actual story because they weren't wearing uniforms. They get hard suits to go and fight the Xenomorphs, but this is like the voyage portion. So they start fucking with this guy immediately, and this is Mr. Grant, the owner of the Xenozip what do you call it, company. There's a drug called, so if you missed the last one about aliens genocide, this is a novel that you can listen to on YouTube. It's awesome. I suggest you listen to it because it gives you what you wanted from aliens back in the 90s when things were still cool. You know, and I just like that. That's a face right there. Somebody worked. Oh, who was the artist on this? Was this Mike Mignola? It was Damon Willis still. Okay. And then you had Barbara Kessel, cover artists. Okay. Yeah, some of these were done by the Hellboy creator. He wakes up, and it's a training hologram. I just really like that. And this is Major Lee and Grant. There are two primary protagonists, and then this is the first time you get to see Corporal Hendrickson and everything. And a lot of the guys on board think he's a synthetic. And they just come out of hyperspace, and they're about I think they're about a in the book it mentions they're about like a week away from making planet fall. And that's one thing about sci-fi that I really like. Okay, we're going to wake these people up 2 weeks before they have to go onto the planet, and we're also we're going to be working like 60-hour like 15-hour days until we get there. I mean, talk about a tough life. This is why I think, like, even if they were to put, like, mining facilities on the moon, it would never work because your bones would decalcify on the moon unless you're exercising every day for at least 4 hours. Your average person would have to exercise for about 4 hours a day so that he could still stand up under Earth's gravity. All right, and they already have like a scan of one of the hives and everything, and so the sacs right here that the queen's attached to and everything, they have a jelly inside of them that's vital to making the drug. And the whole reason the army's funding this because they want the super soldiers for the Xenozip, and two, Mr. Grant, the Donald Trump billionaire guy, he's basically here to save his company. Because that's like the last viable product that he has. And they're talking about how these pods might contain incredibly vicious creatures, hence the Royal Guard aliens. This is when the Royal Guard aliens would come into it, and they're just like bigger, tougher xenomorphs that are like immune to small arms fire and shit like that. Okay, so this is a good one. One of the things that I really like about this, they talk about like combat with the xenomorph, and the thing that I really like is how they say you don't want to shoot them directly in the body. They spray acid everywhere when that happens. There's a way to do it. You want to spray at the feet, take out the knee, and then shoot them in the banana head. That's the way they describe it in the book. Then you want to go for the head and take them out that way, because then when they don't have a knee, they can't move very well when they lose one of their legs because it's kind of a bigger creature. And so they start to crawl towards you, and then you got a good headshot opening, which eliminates the beast entirely. And then they talk about the new hard suit. Now, what do they call it in this one? The Z-110 Acid Neutralizing Combat Wardrobe. And you know, I wish they had a bigger picture of that right there. And it looks a little bit like the ape suit, except for it's got like, in the book it's described as being some kind of a metal combat suit. And what did they say about it right there? They say that the blood touches the wardrobe and the thermal heat of the acid is neutralized altogether. It's lined with a gelatinous substance that can neutralize the acid, giving it a pH balance of water, which I think is kind of cool, but a little bit far-fetched. I'm going to switch to screen capture for 1 second here. And we're going to go to the ape suit, which is something that I wish they had done a little bit in... So those are the ape suits from Alien 3, and I wish they had brought this into... like, if they were still making cool movies and Disney didn't own anything, you would probably see the return of the ape suit. The ape suits are basically a giant spill kit. And that's what they use to neutralize the acid. So if you get too much acid on you, you can break portions of the ape suit away from you. It's not a 100% fix, but it's like wearing a giant industrial spill kit, apparently, and that will protect you. And then you have these face shields to fend off the what do you call it? The face huggers and everything. Yeah, this is a pretty good. I like this, and it sucks that they had to end it. You know, it sucks that they tried to do too much with Alien 3, and we got what we got the story that we got that ended the saga and everything. But we'll go back to the book at hand here, and that's I like the ape suit a lot more. So they're all going to be wearing these hard suits. So, of course, Mr. Grant has his research team on board, and they grew like a tumor torso, and they're gonna try to breed a queen out of the tumor torso, and they've been trying that for ages, and they finally get it to work. This tumor torso, and she's pissed that it's on board. It shouldn't be on board because they're going to a planet full of these things. The host isn't really alive and it can't feel pain. And a new queen is born right there. This book right here in particularly doesn't have any really good art moments except for that face at the beginning. And then you get to meet a couple of your privates. These guys, I can't remember the other. I know that Ellis is one of them. These guys don't. They have they have a slightly larger role in the book itself, the novel. They're all in mess hall, and they're noting how this guy, they never see him shave. They never see him, Hendrickson, they never see him eat with the rest of the crew, and they call him a synthetic, and they said, you know, they got models that take food now, which anyway, they start shit with this guy, and is there any important story thing? Oh yeah, so yeah, when during this little fight, he's like, "Here, why don't you let Jastro take some Xenozip and at least let the fight be even because this guy's like the super jock." And of course, Major Lee's not happy. She has one responsibility, and that's to her men. She says, "You're risking good Marines here to basically for profit," and that's kind of like how it is today. We're starting a war for profit, and they're talking about lab-grown tumor meat, and they got tumor torsos for aliens to be born and everything because we need royal jelly because the army wants super soldiers, and that's the ultimate product. So, has anything really changed in between the 90's and now? It's like this book is a window into the future that we're living in now. You got Bill Gates talking up tumor meat and how we should only buy tumor meat because cows fart. And I offset my carbon emissions when I fly in my private jet by letting farmland go fallow and do absolutely nothing. Anyway, there's a saboteur on board. He kills this queen. Who'd do such a thing? He starts crying. They got a researcher. Oh, I wish it would go into the they have these awesome pulse rifles in the book. They go into a little bit more detail about them. Oh, here they go. I think they're talking about it in this one. No, there's the rifle that they're using. They only mentioned that some ammo's missing. Then you see a picture of the ship. Of course, you have to stay away from Star Wars designs. You know, there are so many creative people out there. I could never have thought of that. We're about at the end of this voyage session. Shot glass of liquor. Okay. So they're getting into their hard suits, and Mr. Grant has to get into his hard suit, and that's where it's going to pick off. And as they come through the clouds, they're descending on the planet, and it leaves you with this one. And this is the big art reveal of what the surface looks like, and you just got xenomorphs everywhere killing each other. Then you have some letters to the editor, flogging a dead horse. Oh, they did Indiana. I forgot about that. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. And that's basically our whole issue. And of course, they have advertisements for Predator. And that's kind of our issue on Genocide and everything like that. So got that portion out of the way. No, it won't go in. Don't worry. It's not like I'm some serious collector. Some serious collector would not handle them on a painting table. They'd have rubber. I've seen some of these guys. They got like rubber gloves on and shit like that. But let's see. We'll go up for chat for a second. Oh, the pulse rifle is legitimately one of the most iconic movie weapons. I'd say the pulse rifle almost outranks the lightsaber. Let's see if can I think of any other iconic movie weapons. That would be a good one. Yeah, let's see here. God, there's got to be one more. I'm drawing blanks on iconic movie weapons besides pulse rifle and lightsaber. Anyway, I got to turn this off. All right. Let's see here. So we have an officer that we're going to be painting, because I think that's about the only thing that's going to register. We have I have one unit. I'll get this up here for you right now that I just finished. The only problem with these miniatures is that they're made out of like a glass type resin. Ugh. There we go. They don't really register in that much, but I don't want to get too close. And I believe this is like only 100 points or something like that in Warmaster. So blue, red, blue, red, blue, red. And then I'm going to be doing the same thing for the next unit. Blue, red, blue, red. Yeah, I like the look of that. And then you've got a basically I have to paint these, and let me see what I did for the other unit real quick. A completed unit. Hold on. Yeah, it looks like for every base, I very carefully went in there with a paintbrush and put some Elmer's glue down there. I just want to get that static grass on the models themselves. And then we got our first hero that we painted and everything like that. And then this can go back over here. So one thing I start out with when I'm painting these is one, they've got to be on the stick setup. Like I said, I mentioned before that when I was painting these all the way back in the day, I had them on. I was just holding the base with one of these and painting them. That's not the way you want to do it. I was being lazy. Now I've got these guys up on sticks, and that's one way you want to do it. Now, for the horses, I'm keeping it very simple. I'm going satchel brown underneath the entirety of the horse, and then on the bases, all over the horse flesh. I'm doing the darkest portions of the model first. But for this guy, one thing's for sure, I can actually hit that with an airbrush right now. I'm gonna try doing his flag. But first, we're gonna use a little bit of white. My friend's like, you gotta nut up and you gotta use it. Otherwise, you're never gonna get good. And he's absolutely right. You're never gonna get good. Let's do 1 drop of flow improver. Single drop of thinner. I didn't even push the dropper in there. And then a little bit of white. I want to just do the tips of his wings. I think 4 drops should be sufficient. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to need that much. And the next thing is we've got to get our tip wet. Just the tip. Put our glovey on. Maybe I should have done the red first. We'll see. We'll see. I think he says you also have to, your airbrushes, they all have a certain angle that they work best at, you know. Let's see. Probably could have broken the models right there. They're made out of like a glass resin. And these were shitty sculpts, by the way. I'm not going to bash the guy who gave them to me, but like, look at all the breakage right there. Just from pulling them off the stills. But it's what I got. You know. Just the tips. That's coming out pretty bad there. There we go. Damn it. Put a little bit of that on there. Not as good as I'd like, but yeah, that'll work. That'll work. And then we're gonna hit the top part of that flag right there for our next color. And we didn't want that much. But there is, yeah, this guy needs a little bit more. He's got the banner, so he needs a little bit more white. Yeah, I want that to be, sorry, I'm want that to be pretty bright right there. I might want to go down to 30 on this next one. I'm at about 40 psi right now. Throw the book over there. Where is that? I had a little, there it is. One of the things I like to do to get the white out, you know, is just put a little bit of that alcohol in there. That 91. Very problematic color right there. But you want to make sure most of that white's gone. Dig in there and get it. Okay. Good. Never going to be perfect. A few drops of water. Nice and clean. Go back. I wonder how long that took me. I'll have to check back through the footage later and see how long that took me. So yeah, I wanted the tips of these wings to be kind of brown because what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash it with this contrast right here. I'm going to put it's going to gray it up a little bit. So a little bit of brown, a little bit of gray on the general, but we're going to make his cape. We're going to make his what do you call it? Red here in a second. We're going to do his flag. So these ones are going to be red. I don't know if I should shoot, well, I shouldn't shoot in ink, but this will work. Hold on, let's try a little bit of this signal red. Yep. Figures the moment I start painting. There we go. Shouldn't have had all that coffee. Let's see here. I'm going to lower the PSI a little bit. Yeah. Little squirts. Little squirts. And then the parts that I miss, I can just kind of do it. I've already got my brown in there. I'm actually gonna do the there we go. That's about it there. And then this guy. Making a little bit of headway. Ah, so tough. Says if I can learn to work on these just a little bit. Just a little bit, he says. You know, I can get a little better. It's funny how little you need. There we go. There. I was just trying to get the horse red a little bit, and then there we go. Make sure that banner has its red on it. And then with these guys, I think what I want to do before I get rid of all the paint in there, so I'm going to take a rather sizable brush. Like I said, I do want the satchel brown. This is a good color to just get rid of horses immediately. And go after the bases as well. It's all just satchel brown underneath. I mean, if somebody has a better approach, I'd like to hear about it in the comments or something like that, but anywhere there's horse flesh. It's a mild distraction. I want to finish all the knights I have. Then I'm going to get back to those savage orcs, and then I've got to start building my tanks for 30k. Make sure I get the lances as well. Because this, I think that getting the bottoms of the horses and everything and the tails, and I think it's the dirtiest part. It's the dirtiest part of the job right here. What I'm doing. And that what you don't like, you can always just highlight. I'm going to get some of the metal ones that were actually legitimately sculpted by Games Workshop. And whatever I'm going to make gold, I'm also going to do this color in here too. So let's take a look here. What do we got? The reason why I don't want to, I'm hesitant to shoot this stuff out of my airbrush at the bottom is because I don't feel that I have any good angles. And I'll just end up with brown models. God, you know what sucks is the hyper concentration that it takes for this crap. I hate Warmaster. I hate this scale. I mean, it'll be worth it if I have a 2,000 point army or a 3,000 point army. But, you know, then I think about greenskins and it's like, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to do this again. But the Zenithal primer allows me to, like, basically ink the model in certain areas. Cause a recess and everything. And what's up, CJ Miniatures? Oh, God, don't get me started on this Iran thing. I'm pissed off. I didn't vote for this shit. I don't give a shit about Israel. They started this. They kicked over a hornet's nest and then went and cried to their mom, which is basically us. It's like, yeah, and then what's his name comes out, Netanyahu comes out and addresses the American people as if he were the fucking president. And here's the problem. I guess nothing really changes, all right? You got Democrats who want to wipe the asses of migrants, what do you call it, minorities in the ghetto, and wipe the asses of trannies and gays. That's the Democrat platform. We're going to have this ever-shifting progressive platform where we wipe the asses of our special interest groups, and then when the Jews are in trouble, oh, the Republicans are going to bend over backwards to wipe the asses of the Jews. And that's basically the United States government. I'm 100% convinced of that now. Nothing will change unless we get a Green Party candidate in. If somebody were to run on the Green ticket and butt fuck both parties over, this is a long shot, might not happen. Like, oh, there's the first non-Republican or non-Democrat president who got elected, and he'd probably be assassinated. And I think the only reason Trump is doing this is because whoever allowed him to become president said, we could have killed you there and we didn't, back in Pennsylvania. We could have killed you there and we didn't. So I'm 100%, and I'm 100% convinced now that Trump was selected to get white people like myself back on board to defending Israel. Bullshit. We're bankrupt as a nation. We don't even make enough weaponry or iron to replace losses. And they threw the Chester Nimitz out there with a big old sink me sign on it. I want an economic recovery, not a world war. This thing's bogus. Might as well throw that away and get my pointer out. You have to do the eyes of the... You have to do the horse faces real quick, and that's what I'm doing. The ears and the faces. I don't give a shit about Iran. If it were up to me, we'd make all our oil in-house, sell it to China, give those Arabs some competition, and outproduce them. I'm so sick of this. I really am. And it's not like things would have been much better if Kamala Harris had become president. I really think that if she had become president, financially, they would have destroyed the dollar and went to Unicoin. That's what would have happened. We would have de-dollarized immediately and went to Unicoin. And if the stock market tanks, I'm absolutely convinced that Donald Trump will print $50 trillion to prop it up, and then then the dollar will be gone anyway. So it's like I literally and you got the like when what's his name left, when Elon Musk left, he fought the swamp and he saw how bad he saw the monster for the first time. This is like that Arkham horror board game. What would you do if you actually saw no bullshit monster? And they have that insanity check that you have to roll, and most of the time you end up going insane and dying of like fear or whatever in that Arkham horror game. Like, what if you absolutely no bullshit saw a monster? Would you go insane? Elon Musk fought the swamp, and the swamp won, and the swamp was successful at repulsing him. Notice how there's no Doge cuts. Oh, we've saved literally we haven't even saved $5 billion. It takes $20 billion to save $1 billion. That's how fucked up our system is. And then you get into all this USAID stuff, and the Democrats were basically paying for people to be gay. The Democrats are paying boomers $8 an hour to show up to these fucking protests in LA, Portland, you name it. We're basically funding our own destruction. Does this end in civil war? Probably. Does that mean we have to go and round up people in blue uniforms before they round us up? Probably. I don't know. I don't know. I pinned some major hopes on an economic recovery with Trump. But if he's going to bail out the market, which they already did under Biden, when those three banks, when like First Republic California Bank went under, there were a couple, and then there was the Silicon Valley Bank. Biden immediately bailed them out. So you have those unipartyists, and this is the worst thing. Trump threw away a coalition with Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson. You had alternate media working in lockstep to get Trump elected. He threw away this, and he has a mandate. He's throwing it away all for the sake of Israel kicking over a beehive. All I got to say is God bless whoever the hacker was that got the Iranian air defenses back up after 72 hours. Fucking A. I mean, I guess I could knock on wood and still say that the Democrats, at least they're leaderless still right now. But how long will that last? Maybe he will be vindicated. Maybe they'll find that what do you call it? They did have a nuke. What business is it of ours? Yeah, we're gonna get some Warmaster going in the group. Right now, we're all gonna go into 8th edition because it's something that we all own. 30K, Conquest. We're just gonna play older games. We're done with getting the newest thing from Games Workshop. I mean, if they fix 40K in 11th edition, which I don't think they're capable of, maybe we'll look at it then. But we're gonna dust off our 9th edition books if we want to do a Crusade. Give this guy a golden horn, so we're gonna any part that's gonna end up being gold. He's just going to make sure all that brown got on. I think I did okay. So jumping in between the projects, we're going to go back to our officer, our man in charge here. Use this brush. We're going to get this gray on them. I don't really like that. And then you immediately realize it doesn't work, but I think if I were to do something like this, in the darker regions, see, that's what I want it to look like right there. That got me the desired effect. We might have to go one more round of the tips. Oh, that's cool. I got 2 Englishmen in the audience. I hope you guys can play a game together, CJ and Historical. That's the weirdest thing about England right there. I live in Wessex, and then like down the street somewhere, like, oh, I don't know if I want to commute over there to play a game. Oh no, everything's a great journey. That I think Tolkien's portrayal of Hobbiton and the Hobbits, like, oh, adventures tend to make one late for dinner. We don't really want to get too far out of the neighborhood, because it's like. You look at the way England is set up, it's all like goat tracks that go around in circles, and the roads are like 500 years old. And then when Hitler demolished everything in World War II, the British just built it back the way it was, good as new. And they still got the same shitty, narrow, corridor-esque roadways. Like, if you want to see roads, come out to my state. You'll be like, God damn, those are some big roads. Like, huge. Huge roads. Our smallest roads look like your freeways. There. That's had the desired effect. I really want the tips of those feathers to be white. I can't go from Wessex to Essex. Lot of black people over there. Don't know how I feel about that. Just the mentioning of they get a knock at the door. What do you mean I'm racist? I didn't say anything. No, I'm being carted off to jail. They're gonna Tommy Robinson me. What's it cost to use a train? Let's say if I had to go from London to Wales, what would it cost to get on a train and do that? Oh, that's I believe all your transit is public owned. It's not a private company. It's all public. It's all public owned. They're gonna gouge. They don't want you guys traveling. They've got your entire population on lockdown in the UK. You guys are on complete 100% lockdown, and you're going nowhere. You guys are going nowhere. Because they also and there's a reason behind that, because they don't want you physically talking to one another. If white men in the UK were to physically meet in secret in groups of 5 to 10 and talk about their political future as a race of Saxons, that's the last thing they want. I mean, you have to, how long has Sadiq Khan been mayor? No, that's who's running your shit now. That's who's running your shit in the UK. Damn sure ain't you guys. And you got that. That I had a little bit of hope when your prime minister said, "We're slowly becoming an island of strangers." Oh no, because none of the migrants you guys took in assimilated. Not to mention the third generation that you're on now, because this has been going on since Love Thy Neighbor, which was a show in the 70s. So this has been like 50 fucking years. You got to the third generation. These people are even more Islamic extremists than their parents. And then you've given them, you've basically, like us, like if we voted in the Democrats, we'd be funding our own self-destruction. They would have opened up the door even wider. We would have taken in another 15 million migrants in 4 years, and all of the swing states would have become blue states, and all of the red states would become purple states, because they settle these people in the fucking cities and give them welfare. At least I've seen reels on Instagram of people not being able to buy shit with EBT anymore, which makes me very happy. I mean, at least with Trump, we're getting that. Oh, I can't get my hair done using my EBT card anymore. EBT runs out. Yes, thank God. I at least that we got that with Trump. EBT runs out. I'm not perpetually paying for you to feed your fat ass. Oh, here we go. Wait a minute. No fucking way it's that expensive. Holy shit. Is that £100? Oh, fuck you. There's no way. To go from London to Wales, $134.58 United States dollars. £100. That's atrocious. I mean, yeah, public transit is just a fucking tax revenue gainer right there. Like, I'm looking at Front Runner right now. It's $85 a month. And then premium monthly pass is $170. It's $25 for me to get on Front Runner and go down to go up to Ogden or go down to Provo. The furthest extent of where Front Runner goes. I think Front Runner stops in Springville and then comes back up. It might stop in Spanish Fork. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Front Runner might go to Spanish Fork, and that's the furthest south that it goes. But yeah, $170 for the month on a premium pass. That's fucking appalling. Okay. Now that we got that, let's see if this red is still viable. Yeah, it still is. I just want to miss these guys a little bit. No, that's going to be too strong. Miss these. Okay. Oof, this is tough. No. Nah, we'll ink them. We'll ink them. Damn it. So I did learn an angle today, though. Tip. The tip is dry. The tip is dry. Now I feel like I'm cooking just a little bit. Just a little bit. Hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. The tip is dry. Might need a little bit more flow improver. There we go. I think we get it. I think we're cooking just a little bit. Like again, I'm not the best airbrusher, but I do want to develop this skill just a little bit. Too much flow improver. God, this is tough. And it's like, you can watch all, you know, let this be a lesson to you kids. You can watch all the YouTube tutorials you want. Nothing is going to teach you control. Nothing is going to teach you control. That has to be, that's a mechanical thing that comes with the experience. I know there's some guys on, I mean, you look at Kenny Boucher. He's been doing this his whole natural load-blowing life, you know. I don't know. I think the road ends for you guys in the UK. You guys got a complete total group of politicians that are owned by the muscles in Brussels, and they believe in the one world government bullshit. They believe. I mean, look at how bad you guys were treated after Brexit. Nothing changed. It just got worse. It was like Europe sanctioned you. Like, who are you to leave? No, they talked about that shit back in the 70s. Oh, but these were different migrants in the 70s. The guy was complaining about a dude who came from like Jamaica, and he wouldn't shut up about how much jungle fever he had for the Jamaican's wife. The guy wasn't like completely ghetto black. He wasn't like African black. He had come from a Commonwealth country. I think Jamaica was how long was Jamaica a Commonwealth country for the UK? I've heard of Lotus Eaters. I've been trying to like lay off the InfoWars. I'm so pissed. think that's about as red as it's going to get. This stuff's almost like an ink. Okay, I think that's good. I think I can take a little bit of this here and just go. Don't want to waste it. And that's one of the things my friend, like what I'm doing right now, you can't really see what I'm doing, but he says, you got to try to learn the angles of where your brush works. And he says, once you do that, once you learn your brush's angles, I'll be able to step up my painting game. If I can step up my painting game on the airbrush side, maybe I'll put in a. How would you guys feel about me putting in a God tier on Patreon? So because I would like, and the God tier is basically I paint a 2,000 point army for you, but you got to pay me monthly. You got to pay me monthly. Nah. It's like I sit there and I think about a part-time job, but then you get the part-time job and you got no way out. And it's not like people are going to have a lot of disposable income to pay a commission painter. Some people will. I sold all of my... I had a huge lot on eBay for a bunch of old 40K stuff. Like really old Rogue Trader stuff. Somebody paid full price for that. And I made a lot of money on shipping. He paid $770 for it. He paid full price. The full $650 was what I was asking for. He paid the full $650. I didn't even get an offer from this guy. Some people out there are baller. And if you have something that people want, hell yeah. I can't believe I did that. See, you're going to get slightly better as you go. So you just got to use it, baby. You just got to use it. Bam. Hell yeah. You just got to use it and you got to learn how to use it. I think my brush likes this angle that I'm on right now. I don't want to be in painting Scrub Town forever. Let's load up another one here. God, and then you got this, you got just that little, I don't know if you can see that. You got that little amount in there, and it's still going strong. I don't think the UK has had a... I mean, even the way... I think Margaret Thatcher turned on the UK in the last years of her administration, and she was like really the last anti-socialist that your government had. The problem with socialism is sooner or later you run out of other people's money. Anyway, I think that's enough of this. Make myself a flamethrower. I thought it was cute when Games Workshop tried to come out with a, what do you call it? An airbrush that, ran on propellant, and then they thought it was too much of a fire hazard. When what Games Workshop should have done was just come out with one of these, and it's like, oh, but if we can't sell a compressor, you know. Got a little bit of alcohol in there. A few drops of that stuff. Run the thinner through it. Now we're going to turn it up. We're going full bore, baby. Okay. So when I'm done with the airbrush, what I always do is pull the rod. You see all that gunk on there? You can see the gunk on that tip. And I always like to... We'll get a drop of alcohol here. You want to get the tip. There you go. And this is the good stuff. 91 proof. The good stuff. That's what you want. Yeah, there it goes. I'm going to put our tip back in there. Easy does it now. Don't want to force it. Just want to kind of... And then I'll do one more purge. One more purge. I gotta keep it clean. I'll even do that one more time. Because the phlegm globbers, they can really get in there. As a matter of fact, there's one right there. I'll just clean the old dirt track out. I'd say as clean as it's going to get for today at least. Let's look at our tip. Yeah. Good enough. Anyway, anybody have any remaining thoughts as we draw this Sunday's show to a conclusion? Okay. Diane Abbott. What is this? God, she's even uglier than Tracy Morgan. God, you just throw in you got a gross potbelly. Where are the flies? God, Stacey, this is the British equivalent of Stacey Abrams, and you want this to be your leader? Labour Party politician. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't Labour the Liberal Party? Labour is the Liberal Party. No, I think that's Tory. I don't... Oh, God, that's gross as all hell. Everything's got to be a big, fat, ugly black woman. What kind of flag is she standing behind here? And this is another problem with the politician class. You have a bunch of people who have clearly never fucking worked. Let me see something here. Let's just Google something. I don't know if that's what I want. Just round it up to 5 million. Besides being a politician, what did she do to make money? You know, if anybody running for office is significantly well off than I am. It's like I told my dad, I'd run for office. You want to give me $30,000 for a year to campaign? Because that's what's going to cost. I got to quit my job to campaign. Oh, you'll just have to campaign and work. The Lord will provide. I'm like, okay, fuck you, boomer. You know, you're good for it. That is not a good look for the UK. You guys have got to start putting more Anglo-Saxons in office. And the problem is they're all probably corrupt as fuck too. What the hell? All right, let's see that.
And just try and whack it. Yes, this is good. And again. That's it. And again. Try and breathe. Relax. That's it. Back up.
Complete fucking pussy. Ballless. Ballless. What the fuck did I just see? He looked like a 3-year-old. And that's who you elected? It's not like Trump's much better as a physical specimen at like 70. I think Trump is 78. 76, 77. That's pathetic. What a gutless fuck of a human being. That's a clear indicator that he's never worked a day in his life. His idea of exercise is he does his pedal bike for 45 minutes every morning. He has a stationary bike, and he might use some weights while he's on the stationary bike. And he's got a dietitian so that he doesn't look like a fat putz like that black woman. Your country's lost, gentlemen. Your country is completely lost. Any Anglo-Saxon politician you can elect is a gutless sack of wonder. They're just going to keep letting those migrants come in, and then when there's no more welfare money, when everybody's shopping at fucking Asda, and there's no food at Asda, it's going to get real fucking bad. That's where it's going. Everyone's going to be so poor in the UK. You'll all be on welfare. All you Europeans love your welfare. Same thing's going to happen here. Nothing's going to change. Like I said, Elon Musk fought the swamp, and the swamp won. Trump tried to fight the swamp, and now they've got him on a leash. They've got him on a leash. Do it or we'll fucking kill you, and we'll kill your firstborn child too. All in the name of Israel. Going to hell. Yeah, that's what I figured. Labor is your lefty parties. Well, gentlemen, it's about that time. We're at about an hour and 55 minutes. I appreciate everybody coming out today. If you're on Rumble, don't forget to leave a like and share the video. That does go a long way on the Rumble algorithm. YouTube, I don't really care about that much. We're just out here having fun. There's going to be a battle report for the 8th edition game that I played in the works. I'm switching my format entirely away from videos. It'll be very rare if I do a live battle report video. I'm just going to do photographs, and you'll see me in the right and the top portion of the screen narrating what's going on in each photo. If I get some time later on Monday night, that's probably what I'm going to work on while I'm painting. And then I'm going to do that. So, there is that. So if you're on Rumble, don't forget to leave a like, share the video on Instagram. Clicking the share button on YouTube and on Rumble goes a long way. That's all you have to do, I think, is click the share button even on Instagram, and that goes a long way as well. So that's the announcements there. Don't forget we had Animation Domination on Thursday. So go check out Slayers the Motion Picture. I'll probably have a martial arts offering coming up this Thursday, starring Bolo Yung, a.k.a. Asian Chad. That's what I call my friend Bo Yang Fan. We always talk about Bolo Yung being Asian Chad. Guy swam from mainland China to Hong Kong to get away from communism, which is where the whole world has to go to. Well, we didn't try real communism, but that's about it. As you know, Instagram DMs are the best way to get a hold of me. If you have some subject matter for the show, you can always DM me on Instagram. Leave a comment on this show. I will try to get back to you as well. And if you leave a comment on YouTube, I will get back to you there. Anyway, that's all for me. Keep painting. Stay metal. You got to practice. If you got an airbrush, you got to practice. And then you see all the spots that you missed, but that's okay. You got to learn the angles, learn the ropes. And we'll see you in the next one. Stay metal, my friends. Oh, wait a minute. We got one more comment here. Thank you, Mute Witness. Okay, thank you. You like the new format. Thank you. I'll try to keep this rolling as long as I can because I like you guys so much. It's like every Sunday I wake up and I'm like, I have friends I can talk to. Life isn't all bad. I mean, my theme song may be "No Woman, No Cry," but at least I got you guys, so that helps. Put that in the mix there. Get some ghost emotes out. Just make sure that went. That'll post any second, won't it? There it goes.